Hello, guys. Welcome to AnimeInkArt Live Talks. I'm your host, Lizzie. I hope you guys are having a good start to your weekend so far. Let's get the show started. Let's get everybody in here that has to get in here. And yeah, we're going to have a good time tonight. So let's just give everybody a chance to get in here and get, themselves situated. And yeah, we're going to have a great time. So yeah, hi. Welcome anybody that's coming in for our show tonight. I'm your host, Lizzie from AnimeInkArt 1. And for those that may not know what this show is about, this is AnimeInkArt Live Talks, where we talk with different creators in the community about their journey in content creation and how we can support each other better in the community. So today we have very special guest, the lootywarrior. He's the co-owner of sugoient. He's also a chef. He's a caterer, as well as he's the owner of blerdthreads.streetwear. So that's their company as well. Photographer as well. So definitely let's give them a warm welcome. And yes, so let's get them on the live and let's get it started. All right, so I'm gonna send the invite now. Instagram to do its thing, just let me know. But it's been good so far. So I just sent hi.
Hey, how's it going?
I see your laptop, not yours yet. There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. I was trying to
Oh, it froze for a second. Let's just see if it comes back on. Okay, it's trying its best to come back. So welcome everybody joining in for another AnimeInkArt Live Talks. Our special guest is the lootywarrior. So amazing photographer. They have their own business and everything. Okay, it's starting to come back. So
can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I just see half of your face. I just see half of your face. Like I see this your mouth.
Sorry.
They're good. There you go. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
That's good. And again, I just want to thank you so much for coming on the show. I really do appreciate it.
Oh no, I really like that idea that you had of doing this.
Yeah, of course. And for the people that may not know who you are, introduce yourself and what you do.
So I am the Ludi Warrior. Also, you can call me Guillermo. I'm the owner of Very Threads. Uh, Also, I'm a co-owner of Sugoient Entertainment, and I also own my own pop-up restaurant called Gspot. I do that wherever I can. I get invited out to different places to do things like that.
That's awesome. And I wanted to start off with the pop-up restaurant that you have. And first off, how long have you been cooking for? And what is your background when it comes to that?
How long I've been cooking for? I've been cooking for about 8 to 9 years now. My background was I started in fine dining, and then I kind of went on to do different things. Like I did a lot of Asian, Japanese, and then also did seafood for a while. I've done pizza. Um, I've even done like a mixed cuisine where it's like all Asian cuisines, Korean, Thai, Indian, like a whole medley of Asian cuisines.
That's
And I have a
awesome.
big background in ramen as well.
That sounds like it tastes amazing.
Yeah, uh, the ramen that I used to make, people would come back always for it, all the time.
That's great. And now I know that you center your cuisine is like a fusion of like Japanese inspired cuisine mixed with soul food as well,
Y-
right? So I wanted
yes,
to say How did you end up creating that signature style that you use now for like all the events that you go to and for your pop-up restaurant?
So it kind of just came together with my love of food and what, like, both my loves of food. Like, I like a lot of soul food and I like Japanese cuisine, and I would kind of blend them together so I can get the best of both. Like, I would do, I would do, hold on,
Yeah, maybe.
I would do, I would do a mix of like collard. I would do collard greens, and then I would put them inside of dumplings, and that would
Mm,
be like a vegan option, and I wouldn't use any meat. I would just make it taste like it was used with smoked meat, and people love them, so I continue to make them because they love them.
that's awesome. And I wanted to ask, what inspired you to, because you've been cooking for a while, then you decided to make your pop-up business. What was that push to start the G Spot, and how has the journey been, or some of the lessons you've had to learn to get to where you are now?
So, so with my pop up, it was honestly because I just don't like working for anybody. I don't even like taking orders from anybody. So I actually got fired because of that. I
Mm,
I was tired. I was working at a private company, and I was
yeah,
like, uh, I want to do what I want to do. So there was a convention coming up, and I was like, all right, I have to go to Otaku Fest, and if I go to Otaku Fest, I have to meet this guy, and I didn't know who he was at first, but I was like, I just knew if I met him, something would come out of it. And I went and I stayed, and my job was calling me to come back, and I was like, I'm not coming back. I'm gonna stay. And because I stayed, I got to meet him, and I met him, and we started talking, and he gave me my first gig. So that's
that's
how that started right there.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And how has the journey been for you? Like, what type of doors has it opened for you, or how has it just helped you as a person doing this business?
Like, for as far as doors, I've gained a lot of popularity because of that. Um, People now, they'll come to some events if they know that I'm cooking, because when I do my food, I do it at a at a like in a way that I know it's quality, and I only use quality ingredients, and I'll use techniques and things that they've never seen before. So when people see my food for the first time, there's always some type of wow factor that they've never seen before, and they just spread the word, and they'll tell somebody else, and then that person will hear about me, and then they'll be like, "Hey, can you do that here?" And then it kind of spreads like that.
Yeah, that's definitely word of mouth is definitely like the big help, if anything else,
Yeah,
honestly.
yeah, it's been a real big help.
Yeah, I could imagine because I've seen like even when you were in the Famicom Online server and some of the things that you post as well, like you've been able to do like private events, you've been able to go to different conventions. So people that may be in your area and they want to know like what type of events do you do, you can share like what type of like cooking catering events that you do.
Hold on, give me 1 second.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, because it was hard to hear you. Okay,
Oh, can you hear me now though?
I fixed it now. So all right.
Oh,
So
okay.
what was the question?
No, you're good. You're good. No, the question was, I know now that you have the G Spot restaurant and you've been traveling, doing different events. What type of events, if people are in the area and they want to come to your event, that you do? Because I know you've done private events. I know you've done conventions, so you can give us like an idea of how many different type of events you do for your catering business.
Oh, so so for my catering business, I kind of go wherever I'm needed. I've worked for the city of North Miami. They have a jazz. show that they do every last Friday of the month. I do that every Friday. I was doing some work at 10th Level Tavern for a while, and then that fell through because he wanted to help a friend who lost his job, which is fine. But now I have to find some other way to get more consistent work. And also, I'll cater my own events. Like we just had a meetup last week. Last week we had a meetup and we had video games. They were doing sake tastings. They had music going on. We had video games, board games, and I think there was a speed friendly going on. Um, I actually do speed friendly as well at conventions, which is a big hit. Like people always come to that. And I use the food to kind of keep the people connected and entertained because I know at a lot of events when there's no
Yeah.
food, people people tend to leave early, and I'm like, okay, if I can give them food, they're gonna stay because no matter how much fun you're having, you're gonna get hungry and you're gonna leave. So this was a way to keep the party going. We also do hip hop anime nights. Uh, I would cook for our hip hop anime nights. People always appreciative of the food that I do. I did takoyaki one time, and that was a nightmare because I did it. I did it by myself,
Yeah.
and takoyaki is something that you kind of have to babysit.
Yeah.
So I was getting orders back to back, and people who ordered takoyaki, I just told them, I was like, hey, you're gonna have to wait until I make all these orders. And I was like, it's fine, it's fine. And they waited for it, and they were happy that it was good, that it was worth the wait. So I love that. Even though you have to wait, I don't disappoint. So that's always like a good thing to keep with me.
That's true. And where are you based out of for people that just joined in?
I'm based out of Miami. Um, I'm trying to do more things in Orlando. I'm hoping to get some Orlando cons under my belt, maybe cooking there. I was thinking of doing like a underground food network
Mm.
to where like I can cook things and then offer it to people to buy instead of paying for expensive con food that is actually not good because I don't eat at most cons because of that.
Yeah.
It's overpriced and trash free, so
Yeah.
it's not a good combination. And I would
Mm.
I would rather be able to sell good food at a cheaper price
Yeah.
to people that who would appreciate it.
Mm.
Because I do a lot of Japanese styles, and they get excited when they're like, "Oh man, you're making that," or they'll see the ingredients that I'm adding, and they're like, "Oh man, I didn't know you could do that," or I don't ever see that, and
Yeah.
I really love getting that feedback.
I mean, that's amazing feedback to have. Like, I've seen some of the food, and hopefully, when I get out there, I'm definitely gonna try it because everything looks good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, my food is kind of addicting. I
Mm.
usually sell out in 3 hours.
Mm.
That's like
Mm.
my average sellout time is 3 hours. Last weekend, I did sell out in two though.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
And I wanted to ask about Blurred Threads and what inspired you to create that brand. And how long have you been designing for? So for those that don't know, you're a jack of all trades, so there's a lot for me to
yeah,
ask. So that's the next question I was gonna ask.
yeah. I kind of have my hand on a lot of pots.
Yeah.
Um, so with actually the same thing. It was around the same time when I was doing my food. I was like, okay, I don't want to work for other people, and I was like, all
Yeah.
right, I can do food, and I was like, oh, I can also start a clothing brand because I'm one of those people who like to be different, and I don't like to look like everybody else. So when somebody sees me, they're like, "Oh, it's something different about this guy." Even if they don't know what it is, they're gonna be like, "Oh, there's something different about him." So I want to make clothes that kind of would speak to me as a blerd, and other blerds will understand. So I kind of started making things that would resonate with the blerd community, like I had one that was like balsamic vinegar. Uh, I had one that was like it was like a kale design where it says "Who loves orange soda?" And like this one right here I have is
Mm.
Miles Morales.
Yeah.
He's our Spider-Man.
Oh,
I
that's
got that. I got that from the video game. And they were like, "Oh, he's our Spider-Man." And then when I heard them say that, I was like, "Damn, you're right. You know what? He is our Spider-Man because yeah, yeah, Peter Parker is cool. I know a lot of black people like Peter Parker as well, but like he's the one that represents us,
yeah.
and him being black and Spanish,
Hmm.
like that resonated with me as well because I'm the same. So I really appreciate the character of Miles Morales. I even made a hat for it, so
That's
I
so
have a
cool.
whole outfit for it because I love Miles Morales so much.
That's awesome. And for people that like may want to shop your brand and stuff, like give us an idea of some of the products because I've seen the hoodies, I've seen like the different themes that you have. I know Ratified had got one of the cosplay outfits that you did, like the
Yeah.
maid outfit. So you have a different variety if you want to give us an idea of what different products you have.
Okay, so if you're gonna shop on my shop, I have full sets that you can wear anywhere. Just going out, going to a con, and you'll fit right in. And it's usually a hat, shirt, jacket, pants, or shorts. So it's kind of like a pre-made outfit, or you can kind of mix and match them as well. So with like shorts and a shirt, or a hat and shorts, and whatever shirt you want. And I also have cosplays that are on the lower end for the price range,
Mhm.
so that it, because I know cosplay can be expensive, so I try and give other options for cosplayers to maybe go on there and be like, hey, I need a last minute cosplay, but I don't have that much money. They can go on my shop and they can check it out, and there'll be a lower price point for cosplay that you would normally see for like $100 or $200 online. And there's also a lot of casual cosplay on there where it'll look like you're cosplaying, but it's really just a really comfortable fit.
Yeah.
Like my Android 17 is a casual cosplay. It's like sweatpants and the shirt and the sleeves. You get the bandana. Also, it comes with the shoes and the socks as well. So it's a complete outfit, but you look like you're cosplaying, but you're really just comfortable.
That I mean, I've seen some of them and there is really good work. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. I actually won a award for one of the outfits, the Demon Slayer outfit. It
Yeah.
was a Rokodaki, a Rokodaki.
Mm. Yeah.
I had the 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 hoodie set that I was using, and when
Yeah.
I turned around to show the mask on the back, everybody like they went crazy, and I got an award from Otaku Fest for that one.
That's awesome. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, I was really happy with that one.
And
My Demon Slayer is like a popular one too as well.
that's awesome. And I wanted to ask, because you also do events with Blurred Threads, but the question that I wanted to ask, because a lot of the stuff that you do your own events. So was that something that you always planned when you made your brand, or did that happen over time? Because I know event planning is not easy.
Okay, so it kind of I had to fail honestly first to even understand. My first event was like a free cosplay shoot, and three people showed up. But
Mm.
I was planning it by myself, and my friends who were kind of like who's going to be like my photographer for that day. I
Yeah.
told them I was like, honestly, if nobody shows up and it's just one person, I'm just gonna rock out like it was 100 people and make that person have the best time they they would ever have. So I kind of kept that energy, and it actually was a storm coming in. So the storm kind of it would have messed up the shoot, but I was like, hey guys, there's a storm coming, but this is a rare opportunity for us to get some natural rain, and you guys
Yeah.
can do like a rain photo shoot. And they were like, yeah, let's do that, let's do that. And we did a rain photo shoot, and they had fun. And I met some new people, and they met some new people, so it was pretty cool. But after that,
Yeah,
I knew what to do, what not to do.
no, definitely, and you're doing the thing with all the events, and I could imagine like how the process was just trying to get it right, because like I know from like that first event, you're just like, okay, this is what I'm not gonna do, this is what
It was
I am gonna do.
it was
What are
all
some of the
marketing. It was all
what
marketing.
what are some of the lessons that like you've learned when it came to the event planning? Like, what specifically you were really like, okay, this is what I'm not gonna do going forward.
Okay, I had to one make flyers about it. Um, I had to constantly post about it and give people a reason to come out. And when you make a flyer, make it clear, make it concise. Give them, let the people know when they're just looking at it. Oh, okay, this is what it's about. They, they want to know from first glance what it is, and you always include a date, not a date, a place and a city. Like you can say, if you say Florida or whatever, you need to know exactly where it is, so people can know, hey, that's somewhere I can go. And,
Yeah.
and that's going to discourage people if they don't know exactly where it is. They're going to see it and they're like, I don't want to look for where it is, and they're going to skip past it. And
Yeah.
that was something I learned from somebody I was kind of asking a lot of questions about going events. And
Mhm.
also take advice from people who already have done events, and
Yeah.
they'll tell you a lot of things
Yeah.
because they
Yeah.
failed it before, so they know what not to do.
Yeah, that's true. And for people that don't know, we've been talking outside of this live, and like trust me when I say he does give the advice that like, he's learned from. So definitely understand.
I honestly give a lot of advice. Now, a lot of people don't take it, but I do give it out. I give it out.
And something that people may not know is that you are a social media assistant, so you do help with like, some of the different aspects of social media promotion and a little bit of coaching. So if you just want to give a background on why you started it and what type of services you provide.
I started it because I see like a lot of people who want to grow, and they're like they don't know how to, and they think that it's impossible. Or people who want to get monetized, and they think that it's impossible to get like a verified badge or even get
Mhm.
monetized.
Yeah.
So I kind of did it myself so that I can say that I did it, and I would
Mhm.
be on that status. And once
Yeah.
I got monetized, I was able to duplicate what I've done and teach it to other people. Um, Basically, you have to be consistent. Honestly, that's the number one thing: is being consistent. If you're not consistent, you might as well not post.
Yeah. That makes sense. And what services do you provide for people that may need the help?
Oh, so I do. I help with logo creation. I help with structuring your page, structuring how you post, how often you post. I'll help with branding. I've helped people with branding. I also can help you with like coming up with strategies for how to promote something or how to market yourself. I also I'm helping. I also help people promote their pages. Like if they need promotion, I'll help them make content, or I'll promote content for them. I'll post it on my stories or whatever. Anything just to help them. And I don't really charge. I also do photo shoots. If you need content, your cosplay, you need a photo shoot done, I'll do that. Or maybe you already have pictures and then you want them edited, I'll edit it. Uh, I honestly anything dealing with social media, I I've kind of done a lot, so I know a little bit about a lot of things. So if you need help with something on social media, there's a lot I can offer to help you with.
Yeah. That's
So
awesome,
any
man.
guys,
Commendable. That's commendable, actually.
thank you.
And I wanted to ask about Sugoient ENT because you're also a co-owner of that. And so,
Yes.
if for people that may not know about that organization, how you guys got started, what your
Mm.
mission statement is, and
So
the events that you do.
Segoy Entertainment, actually the name was actually my business partner's name.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We kind of merged my company, Weeps Unite, and his, and then we became Weeps Entertainment, and then we just decided to go with one name and call it Segoy Entertainment. And this all started because honestly, there was no spaces for blerds to hang out and do things that blerds like. Even at the conventions, there's always raves.
Mm-hmm.
Every convention has a rave, but there's
Yeah.
no hip hop party. So we kind of started doing free events so people can just meet people and hang out and do cool things. We've done a Bunkasai,
Mm-hmm.
which is like uh, it's like an event at schools where they kind of like show off their talents. They have little games and things like that. And we put on one for a Weebs Unite, which is a free event, and people loved it. We had this game where you would like put your hand in a darkened jar, and it was like different creepy textures in there, and you had
Yeah.
to try and guess what's inside of it. And we done cake contests, we've
Yeah.
done tarot reading, we've done K-pop dance tutorials.
Mm-hmm.
We had I don't even remember everything we've done. There was so
Yeah.
many things that we just do, and we had a kawaii edition one time where it was kind of like basically more geared to girls, towards girls, but guys came out too. And it was like everything that was cute. We did cosplay contests, kawaii activities. I believe we did a Tasha card contest during that time. Uh, we do a lot of things. We do a lot of things. And then what else have we done? We've done a Friendsgiving. That was I really liked the Friendsgiving. That was one of my favorite ones. Was the Friendsgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That was a really nice one. We just came. We did a turkey hunt where we'd hide different turkeys everywhere, and they were connected with a prize. So if you found the turkey, you found the prize. And we had a lot of good prizes. We get donated a lot of good prizes. We've got donated from city trends, our local vendors.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Ozzy Oz Virus has donated to us a bunch of times. Um, who else? Some of my friends, Fantasticarium, uh, Amanda from the Heart Container Cafe, they have donated to us. Geeky Robots always donates to us. These are all local vendors in my area that I met, and they they like what we put on, so they want to support, and they know donate to the prizes, and it makes the experience really enjoyable.
Yeah, and I would say, what is like the biggest impact that you've seen in your area since you guys started in that area of Miami?
The biggest impact
Yeah.
that more blerds have like come out and they're showing up to these events, and they could now have a place to be them. I had I've have never seen that many in one spot until we started doing our events. And then I've met so many more because of that. And I keep trying to meet more. As I see more, I'll invite them. I'll tell them about what we do. And
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh man, I never knew." That's one thing that we're fighting with because
Yeah.
since it's been going on for so long that there's no space for us. It's that so
Mm-hmm.
they're not looking
Yeah.
for it. So we kind of have to we have to find them, and
Mm-hmm.
they they spread the words. I'm not gonna lie. A lot of my friends also, they'll talk about me or they'll talk to locations, and then locations will hit me up like, "Hey, can you do this here?" So it's really good that like we do something for the community and they appreciate it and they talk about it. So that's a big blessing, honestly.
Yeah, and where can people find info about like the events if they are in the area?
You can go to our Instagram, which is sugoient. Um, you can also, if you're following me, I'll also post everything that we do. Um, we also have a website, Segoy, segoyent.com. Yeah.
Okay. And you also do photography, so that's the other thing I have
Yes.
to bring up. And
I do do photography as well. Yes.
and how long have you been doing photography for?
Honestly, I'm okay. So photography was a little weird for me because I started on the other side of the camera. I was
Yeah,
cosplaying.
yeah.
And I don't remember exactly when I started just taking pictures.
Hmm.
I just one year I was like, okay, I'm gonna start taking pictures, and I started taking pictures of cosplayers, and then I would I would tag them in all of the photos, and they were so appreciative of that because everybody who's a cosplayer knows if you go to a convention, you'll take 1,000 photos and not get one
Pretty,
tag. You would not see not one photo.
pretty much.
I would I would search the internet for
Yeah,
hours looking for my photos,
yeah.
and I could not find them. So, so that was like, you know what? I'm going to give cosplayers their photos.
Yeah,
So that's that's how that started. And then I was okay in the beginning. I started learning where to place my camera, lighting, and shadows, all those things. Even now, I'm doing more editing with editing
mm,
software, so that really improved my game as well. And I use a DSLR camera now,
yeah,
but I like my phone. I'm not going to lie, but
yeah.
there are a lot of things that you can do with the DSLR camera that you can't do with a, a phone. So
Mm.
I'll kind of switch in between, but I do love my phone more than my DSLR. But
Yeah, and just like what was said in the chat, is like it's great when we have more POC photographers who get it because I'll tell you from going to BlurCon, some of the even like some of the pictures that I had, it was the first time that like I was doing a shoot or something like, oh, I'll take it for you because usually I take it, and I try my
yeah,
best, but it's just like they're all black people. Like even the video that I got, the shot that I got with Turbo Granny like in different angles, it was an actual like legit like POC photographer and then
yeah,
somebody else that was like, practicing, and they just knew to just like the angles and the lighting and like, oh, make sure we're not in a bright light, you know what I mean, like it's
yeah,
all those it's all those things.
yeah, yeah. That was also another thing. When I would take for photos, I would take a photo of everybody that was good, and then I would come back with 1,000 photos. And I was like, oh man, I have to edit all these and post them. So I was like, all right, I'm not gonna do everybody. I'm just going to do mostly blurred, personal colors, and and that cut it by like a third, and I had much less to edit after that. But it also gave me better content because a lot of time when I would ask like these these people of color who like I'd be like, hey, can I take your photo? They would be
Yeah,
shocked. They
yeah,
would be like shocked. They'd be like, they'll be like, you mean me? You want my photo? I'm like, yes, I want to take your photo. And
yeah.
they kind of come out of their shells a lot of times after that. I've seen a lot of people start to do a lot more photos after they just take that one photo. And I was like, I really like the feeling that I get from doing this, so I just continue to do that.
That's awesome. And do you do a lot of like do you offer a lot of like photo shoots like at the conventions you do sometimes? Like you do like different shoots sometimes?
I do. I have like a mini studio setup that I'll set up now, and
Yeah.
people can come get their photos taken. So, and that also attracts people to where they're like, "Hey, are you doing photos?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you can come take your photo." And then they'll come and like, "Okay, I want to take a photo with me and my friends." So I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, cool." So it's really cool to like people who want photos to come. And I like that feeling because I know when you're a cosplayer, you don't really get those photos ever, or you have to pay a lot of money for it.
Yeah. That's very true. And also, I want to say congratulations on the like, finally doing panels. I know you had like that first panel in 2022 with like the cosplay, like photographer. But then
Yeah,
even recently, with Cheese Make Cause, you're able to do like anime and fashion.
yeah.
So, what inspired you to start the panels, and what have you learned since like the first one? And how many different ones have you done? Because like I feel like it's more than I saw, honestly.
It's honestly a lot of panels I do. Okay, let's see if I can remember all of them. All right, I do anime and fashion.
Hmm.
I do own your own anime shop.
Hmm.
I do Marvel Snap tournament.
Hmm.
I do what else do I do? Oh, how to grow your following and become an influencer. Uh, we do speed friending with sugoient. We're doing
Yeah.
bead friending now, where
Mm.
it's like the history and the culture of Claire. You know, trading candies and things like that.
Yeah.
Uh, I what else do I do? I think that's it.
Yeah.
Believe so. I think so.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh no, I lied. I do I do Magic the Gathering, an intro to Magic the Gathering, and
Mm.
I also do anime recipes,
Yeah.
and I think that's it. I
Yeah.
think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah.
That's awesome. That it's awesome that you're able to do so many of those. And so what inspired you to start doing panels? Like, did it just seem like it fit with everything else you were doing, or you're just like, oh, this is just a different way that I can grow with the community?
Yeah, that's basically. I wanted to kind of share what I knew with people, and that was the perfect way to do it. And people, they seem to enjoy the panel. And sometimes I'll get like really bad times. Like they'll
Yeah.
put me on a Saturday early in the morning, and especially here in Miami,
Yeah.
nobody's up before 12 in Miami. On Saturday, everybody's still asleep, and at 12 they're getting ready or just waking up.
Yeah.
So it'll be the smallest number, but more later on, then you'll have more people. But
Mhm.
those times kill me, and I'll have so many, and they'll put me back to back, but like on opposite ends of the convention.
Mm.
So I'm late to my panels all the time. I I forget stuff because I'm rushing,
Yeah.
and it's always a disaster. But a lot of my friends come and they support and they help the energy. And then she knows how to get a crowd going, and she always saves the panel. Always. It could be like a huge disaster in the background, but the whole room will be having fun.
Well,
It, it,
that's
really
great.
appreciate them for that.
That's great. That's well. That's the good part about having more than yourself. Sometimes when you do these panels and just everything that you have going on.
Yeah, she's a big help. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. And I want to ask you do so many things, and how do you try your best to either balance it all, or when if you do get burnt out, what do you do to try to just keep yourself motivated?
Okay, so what I try and do is honestly, I try and put my job last. My
Mm.
my job has the last priority,
Okay.
and then all the things that I love has first priority. I'll
Okay.
Right now, I'm focusing on my food and my events, and I don't promote my clothing as much. I
Mm-hmm.
would like to, but I also I also like to be the only one who has these designs. So I'm a bit selfish on that. So I'm kind of glad that I'm the only one that when I go to a convention, people are like, "Oh man, what's that? Where'd you get that from?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's my own design," and
Yeah.
nobody else can wear it. Nobody else can say that they have it. So I'm a bit
Yeah.
selfish on
Yeah.
that. And, uh, and also, what I'll do is all my content is pre-post. Like I schedule it out so I don't get that burnout. And
Yeah.
if I run out, then I try and scramble and make some posts till I
Mm-hmm.
get to my next event or something, which usually is like within 2 weeks because I've been requested for a lot of things or for different conventions. So sometimes I have to turn down conventions because I already have something planned at another convention, and I'm like, oh, I don't really want to, but I have to do this.
Yeah. That makes sense. But I'm glad that like you have like a okay, at this moment this is my priority, and at that moment that's my because like I know a lot of people want to do like every single specific thing, and I know in the beginning I was like that, but I'm like, listen, some periods it's not gonna be every single thing. Like you gotta prioritize something and then get back to it later.
My job gets last priority. Like my chef just told me he was like, "Hey, I have you on for 6 days," and he knows I don't do 6 day weeks. And he's like, if you call out, you're gonna have to like do it. Like if you call out, I'm not gonna be here. But I was like, I have to check my calendar
Yeah,
if I'm doing something, and I
yeah,
think I am because I have to do the jazz event. So I don't even think I'm gonna be able to do those 6 days because of that.
yeah. I definitely understand that. 6 days is crazy. Huh?
Yeah, 6 days, but we're kind of short staffed. So I understand why you had to do it, but I also have a lot going on and I can't do 6 days.
Yeah, I mean that's fair. I mean, like most of us would probably be like that's a lot, but like considering everything you do, I do not blame you, honestly.
Because I want to be present for what I like, what I love. So if I'm doing 6 days, I can't put my full attention to it. So I have to set those boundaries.
Yeah, of course, as you should. And the question I usually ask, and you've watched some of the shows, is about supporting the Blur community. First off, you support 100%. I don't really have to expect that like when it comes to my stuff. Like ever since like literally like for like ever since we like just linked in terms of social media
Yeah.
like without even asking, so you're definitely a good person to ask this question. I asked about support in the Blur community. What do we do well so far to support each other? What can we do to improve? And based on everybody's experience, they all have a different question,
Mm.
a different response to the question.
One thing I think we do well is in person. We're really well with like supporting each other, but I think we kind of dropped the ball when we're back in our own spaces and it's online. So where we would kind of like support um, people that are big and
Yeah,
not support people who are trying and just starting. And those are the people who I try and work with, the people who are just starting, because I'm really just starting, to be honest. So I feel like we can grow together and also be happy for your fellow content creators when something happens for them, because I know it's a lot of people who aren't. Like, I got a lot of followers
mm,
who will follow me, but just to see what I'm doing, not to
mm,
support me.
yeah,
So that that we need to change.
mm, mm,
We need to learn how to be happy for each other.
mm. Yeah, you touch. Yeah, that's definitely an interesting perspective. But I've heard of people. 'Cause I think sometimes for me, like I have such like a one track. Okay, I'm just gonna do this. Doesn't matter if you like it. That I'm sometimes I don't realize. if that particular person is just, following because they just want to like lurk. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
you do what you want, but it's just like that's none of my concern. But I have heard that people have said like sometimes they know when somebody's just there to keep
Yeah.
tabs on you because they don't interact, they don't share, they don't follow, and then other people are actually genuinely there for you. So I understand that sentiment.
You have a business page, so it's easy to tell because you will see the views. Well,
Yeah,
greatly outnumber like the interactions. So people are
yeah,
just watching to see what you're doing, but they don't really want to be like, "Hey, I like this," so that it doesn't give you too much credit. But
yeah,
it's all right because people who make content, they do it because they love to do it. So it really doesn't matter anyway.
yeah.
But if you want to grow as a community, that's one thing that we should change.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. That's definitely a great response because I think, it takes a lot of courage just to do like the stuff that you do is like community building. The stuff that I'm trying to do in whatever capacity is like community building. But I know for some people it's like it depends on their mindset if they really want to go that extra mile. You know what I mean? But it would be beneficial if more people had that mindset.
Yeah, I support everybody. I support you if you're big. I support you if you're small. It doesn't matter. If I see you trying, I'll support you.
Yeah, and I could definitely say that the one thing that caught me off guard outside of this interview was just when for your events that sometimes for your vendors you allow them to vend free of charge. That's something that shows like your heart and your thing for community because anybody that's in the chat right now or anybody that's vended, that's very rare. That's not something that you're gonna come across at all.
We definitely don't charge our vendors, and we would like to keep it that way for as long as possible.
Yeah, yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say, what are some of there's so many things that you're doing. So what are some of the long-term or short-term goals that you have for the things that you're doing?
My my short term goal right now is to be able to go to conventions and do what we do at the conventions for blurs to be able to exist in a space to where they can just be them and do the things that they like to do in their way, not do it just because that's the only thing that they have available. And I would also like to be able to just bring a lot of my friends onto the convention so that they can enjoy these things with me.
Yeah, that makes sense. And again, that's just a testament to how giving that you are.
Yeah, I try and bring my friends to every convention I go to. If I'm doing something there at the convention and they bless me with a lot of tickets, I'll bring my team on. Well, the last one I did was anime,
Yeah.
and I brought 7 people with me. And the
Mhm.
one before that one, uh, MegaCon, I brought 8 people with me.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I just feel like from what I've seen from the content, you always have a good time because you're able to have that community with you. And I wanted to ask, like, how was it for you, before you did all of this, like growing up as a blurred? And has it been like a full circle moment based on your experience as a blurred that now you have all these different blurs to interact with and gain a community with?
It's kind of funny because honestly, I didn't even know I was a nerd when I was younger because I grew up in an area where like nobody talked about that stuff,
Hmm.
and since I was also into sports and things, I was just as happy to talk about sports. But it wasn't until I hit middle school that I was like, oh man, I'm kind of weird. And the things that I liked are weird. And then I met other people who were into that stuff because I moved out of that neighborhood.
Yeah.
And oh man, there's other people who like this stuff. And they like the same stuff that I like. And I was like, oh, they're kind of weird. Oh, I'm weird. And then that's how I kind of found out.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, being able to kind of bring everybody else to our, blurs and they kind of have to hide who they are a lot of times because of that.
Yeah.
And just giving them a space is just one of the ultimate, like, soul feeding, I don't know, acts. Because just to see them having fun and being appreciative, they will
Yeah.
come to me after a lot of events and be like, thank you so much for putting this on. I've had
Yeah.
people tell me that their day to day life is so boring because they can't do things.
Mhm.
So this is a way for them to be normal on a day to day basis. So
Yeah.
I want to do it more often if I can.
Yeah, it's definitely great. I can understand what you mean. Like you didn't know. I honestly, to be fair, I didn't know about the term blurred until like 2019. I'm not gonna lie to you, like 2020. I didn't know the term social media. You were seeing the term. I knew like I was the anime kid that people would tell me like stop talk like like stop talking about. Like now I pick and choose. Like if you're really like if I'm really like very close with you and I talk with you, like it will come out at some point and there's like a lot of excitement and stuff. But like
Yeah,
over the years I have learned to like, whoever wants to see that like, see that side. But I get it, like a lot of people like they in my town, like they have to feel you out. And then once you start going with the same energy, like, oh, okay, it's now. But I don't even think they knew that they were blurred until they heard the term. So
yeah.
I understand.
No, I never hit it. I just didn't have a way to share it because
Yeah.
if I were to talk about it, nobody would know what I was talking about.
Yeah,
But when
it was the same thing, yeah.
yeah,
I
when I
stopped
found
hiding
people,
it. Yeah.
yeah, be yourself. People tell
I
me
mean,
weird all the time, but I don't care. It adds to my
yeah.
character.
Mhm.
And then you know what? People people see that I'm just genuinely me, and it's okay that I'm weird. Whatever. I'm just being me.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to
yeah,
hurt anybody or anything. So it's all right. So he's a little weird.
yeah,
At
that's
work,
true.
at work, I'm the weird guy, but it's okay.
For me, it wasn't like I didn't really care that I was weird, but like there was a time in eighth grade where they were trying to like I think it was eighth grade. They were trying to tell me like to stop talking about it, but
What?
then once I went to yeah, like they were saying like oh you do too much like, but mind you, it wasn't another black person. It was like a non-black person. So I was like okay, I guess I kind of expected that. Then I used to a black person like being that loud about it in my town, but
Yeah.
then once like high school came, it's like. I didn't really hide it. It was just more so like if you want to talk about it, go ahead. Like it will come out. Like I don't really care. So that's how it ended up happening. But
That's good. Yeah, definitely do not hide it. It's gonna crush your soul at the end. It's gonna crush
yeah,
your soul.
that's true. And one of the last questions I'll ask is how has this journey in being an entrepreneur, content creation, how has that helped you in some way, whether it's mentally, spiritually, physically?
Um, so on this journey, I've had to read a lot of books. So mentally, uh, I'm more fortified. I can tell you that.
Hmm.
I've been a lot more happier with just being fulfilled with the things that I'm doing. And I also know that I'm still at the beginning of my journey. So I have a lot to learn and a lot to grow and a lot to do. So I'm ready for the future.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear about the fortitude because I feel like sometimes when it's a business you need a lot of growing pains and there's a lot of
Yeah.
like resilience and stuff to get through it. So
But I also like other people I see that are doing, like, they're doing business. And if I see that maybe they're lacking on something, I'll offer my help. And if they want it, great. If they don't, it's no hard feeling. So, and just getting the satisfaction that, you know, that it helped them in their business, that helps me to continue to do it. So that, and there's a lot out there. So it's like infinite that I can get that good vibes
yeah,
from.
yeah, that's true. And again, I just want to thank you. Hopefully it was a good time. Hopefully, because I know you were like wondering what I was gonna ask you, but hopefully it's a good time.
No, I had a lot of fun, honestly. I really did.
That's good. And I just wanted to give you the time now to plug in everywhere that you want people to follow you, tune in to your events and everything that you have going on.
Okay. So, sugoient ENT on Instagram, um, the Looty Warrior on all platforms, and trendyblurts.com for my clothing website, or you can just go to blerdthreads.streetwear on Instagram, and you can also shop from the Instagram as well.
Awesome. And again, I just want to thank everybody for that has been tuning in so far. I wanted to say that I did do another open call. Well, per suggestion, they said it was a good idea because of the last time. This time around, everybody is welcome regardless of like the categories that I have for each month. It was just something that I thought would be cool because like the specific months that are coming up, especially like May, there's like Black Friday. So, for the open call, like in April, if there's any artists or indie creators that would like to talk about what they're doing, their art, it doesn't matter if you have a business, are a vendor, have a comic book brand, if you want to be on the show. That was just a theme, but anybody is welcome. Then in May, there's Black Friday. There's a lot of creators that I know that either their business is heavily like fantasy inspired or fae inspired,
Yeah,
or they're very into like Black Day official. If you fall into that category, definitely May is supposed to be the focus for it. Again, everybody's welcome. And then June, I decided to do like black owned small businesses.
yeah.
Because for those that may not know, I have AnimeInkArt, which I'm getting back into. That's why all the art's on the wall. That's why I have the shirt right now.
Oh, I have to show that to somebody. I know somebody who would love it. A business partner, actually, that's what I'm thinking of. He would love that shirt.
Awesome. Yeah. So, yeah, sometimes I do try to vend in the tri-state. I've been trying to come out of that. I'm also starting back up the commissions, so they're open as of this month. So anybody that's interested in like logos, some certain graphics, like product pictures, I'll try to get into full body, half body chibis. Like that's what I offer. So
Oh, nice.
definitely everything like that you want to know about is displayed on the page. But any like joining the show, or if there's certain products that I don't have in the store and you want to get commissions, just go in the link tree in bio, and I'll be trying to share that more often. Our next show is on Monday, and then from there, we'll be working on getting more people on the show. So join the broadcast channel because everybody gets that information first, whether it's stuff that I've done for the shows, for the business, and the cosplay, because I also do a lot of side quests sometimes. So definitely thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys on Monday for the next show, and I hope you have a good night.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, guys. And the live will be saved, and I'll try to get the full video to do clips if I can. So definitely tune back in if you didn't see the whole thing. Have a good night, guys.
Bye.
Bye.